We were wondering when the first big domino would fall, and now here we are. Miami Hurricanes quarterback Jakari Brown is entering the transfer portal.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And Brown has 3 years of eligibility left. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and also host of Locked On ACC. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first and second listen today, your first watch. We're available free. Wherever you get your podcasts, we're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Anyone who's been following the quarterback rotation and the things Mario Cristobal has said in recent weeks, you shouldn't be shocked by Jakari Brown deciding to leave Miami. You shouldn't be shocked. You're probably not shocked, but it's okay to be disappointed. And you can be disappointed in Jakari Brown no longer being a part of this program because he has shown us, including some of the great throws he made in the spring game just this past Saturday, some of the moments he had against Rutgers in the bowl game a few months ago, not to mention, I thought his overall best collegiate start was 2022 against Georgia Tech, where he was very good in that game as a true freshman, put in a tough situation. The upside is very high with Brown. This is someone that when he arrived at Miami in the class of 2022, he was very raw as a quarterback prospect. I've seen him showing excellent signs of development and improvement in the past couple of years. Big physical guy at 6'5" plus, an excellent runner, as we've seen, which is obviously an important skill to have as a quarterback in college football, especially in this era of college football. 220 plus pounds. That's what his listing is. I think he's a little bit heavier than that at this point. So, as he continues to develop, I think Jakari Brown's next team could be getting a guy who could have a lot of upside as a starting quarterback in college football, if not in the Power Four. As far as why Brown has decided to transfer, the writing has been on the wall, I think, for a while now. A lot of people look back to the 2023 regular season, why he didn't play in that season. Now, I do think there was a desire on Brown's part to take that season off to redshirt because he didn't get to redshirt in his true freshman year because he was needed in too many games. He had to burn the redshirt in 2022. I do think Brown wanted to redshirt in 2023 and develop and improve himself as an overall quarterback. There have been signs that he's doing that. Was called upon to play in the bowl game against Rutgers because Miami just didn't have any other options, was able to do that without burning the red shirt. But you look back to the way the things have played out in spring. The complexion of the quarterback room at Miami changed completely. Now, first of all, any option that he had to maybe compete to be the starter in Miami this coming season, that was taken away from him when Miami brought in Cam Ward. And you guys know I love that move. I'm not criticizing that move. I think Ward is going to give Miami an opportunity to win more games with him than they would without him. I love that move to bring in Ward. Obviously, for Jakari Brown, Emory Williams, Reese Poffenbarger, who had just transferred in before Ward got here. Ward comes in. He's the alpha. He's the starting quarterback. I think he's going to have a special year. So already, if you're Brown, if I'm ever going to start at Miami, it's not going to be 2024, 2025 at the earliest. And then in spring practices, I think it was pretty evident throughout that he was taking a lot of fourth-team quarterback reps, some third-team quarterback reps, and Mario Cristobal even said it a couple of weeks ago that Emory Williams and Reese Poffenbarger were the ones that were, kind of really pushing Ward more in practice. He didn't mention Jakari Brown in the same category, so that's one of the reasons why we're not overly surprised by this. That he has decided to transfer. The quarterback room got very crowded, and I know a lot of people disagree with the idea that he was not the second team quarterback, or third team quarterback, for example, because I know in the spring game, Reese Poffenbarger didn't look that great in the spring game. I do think that was maybe a little bit of an aberration for him because I saw some much better moments from him throughout practices than I did in the spring game. And Jakari Brown made some big throws, A lot of people thought he outplayed Emory Williams in that spring game as well. And he ends up essentially, being someone who had to make the best decision for him and his family. And so my disappointment with this whole situation comes from the fact that I still think this guy at 6'5" with his running ability, the cannon that he has for an arm, I think he's got the type of upside where he can end up being a really good one down the road. And unfortunately, some other school is going to be able to potentially reap the rewards from that, and not Miami, is why I'm disappointed by it. Let's take a look at the numbers that Jakari Brown has put up in Miami. He got the bulk of his work in the 2022 season. 27 for 45 as a passer. That's 60% on the nose, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions as a true freshman. The only action he saw in the 2023 season was the Pinstripe Bowl against Rutgers. And in that game, he went 20 for 31, which means he completed 64.5% of his passes in that game, 181 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in that one. As a runner in the 2022 season, Jacurri Brown, 54 carries for 223 yards. In the Rutgers game, he rushed for 2 touchdowns on 15 carries for 57 yards. And so he's in the portal now. And I understand, like, if there's not a clear path to playing time here, you try to find that somewhere else. That's why he's decided to test out the transfer portal and take his talents elsewhere. And folks, like I always say, I wish these young men the best. I wish Jakari Brown the best when it comes to finding a home, finding a place where he's got a clear path to playing time. Because, for someone who I'm sure has aspirations of playing at the next level someday, you have to be able to play. You have to be able to put stuff on film in college. You want to go somewhere you can try to win something meaningful. So I'm very curious to see where Brown ends up, and I'm rooting for him to find somewhere where he's going to get an opportunity to play and continue to develop. As far as I want to talk about what's left in Miami's quarterback room now, with Jakari unfortunately stepping away. I don't blame him for his decision, but Brown is leaving Miami. Big domino to fall today on the first day of the transfer portal. We'll continue to talk about it and what's left. Keep it locked right here on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. And I hope you're keeping it locked to Monopoly Go. Welcome this awesome game to our family here. My friends, I've been told I'm a competitive person. I've got a competitive side, especially when it comes to Monopoly. We all do. And my competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you can play not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. But the best part is messing with my friends. I can charge them rent on my iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly, but now I can also rob their vaults of riches for myself. And the leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. But it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends and people all around the world in timed tournaments to earn huge rewards. To get in the game and join your friends, download Monopoly Go now free on the App Store or Google Play. We are also proudly brought to you by LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On Canes your first, your second listen, first watch today. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So the morning transfer portal entrance, well, morning and afternoon, I should say, offensive lineman Logan Sagapolu entered the portal this morning. Not a real surprise there. I definitely want Logan to be able to find playing time somewhere else. This is a player who Mario Cristobal brought him over from Oregon in 2022 when he came into Miami, but Sogapalu has not really factored in much to the rotation. I don't think he was going to be a factor in the offensive line rotation in this coming season. So, he's going to go somewhere else where he can find an opportunity to play. We've already known Nigel Kelly, defensive end, officially hit the portal today. We wish him the best. Henry Parrish at running back, for a few weeks we've known he was hitting the transfer portal. We wish him the best wherever he ends up. And then Jakari Brown. That's the big domino to fall today. So the Hurricanes, who I believe now are 3 scholarships over the limit, if I'm not mistaken. They're at 88. That's my estimate, 88. They need to get down or below 85. So I think there's probably going to be at least 7 more players who decide to leave, which would open up 4 or more scholarships to bring in replacements at certain positions. Now, there's not going to be a replacement at quarterback. Miami's quarterback room was already more than full. With Brown leaving, the quarterback room is still full. So Miami's not going to be in the quarterback market. I think the idea, like, we knew there was going to be somebody who decided to leave, because the idea that the Hurricanes would take 5 scholarship quarterbacks to the season, they only had 3 last year. The idea of taking 5 into the season just didn't seem realistic, because at least one of those guys, now one of them's a true freshman in Judd Anderson, so he's got to have patience. But 3 of the other guys competing to be the backup, you figured at least one of them would want to go somewhere else to find more opportunities to play. Jacurri Brown is going to be that guy. So Miami still has in their quarterback room Reese Poffenbarger, who just transferred in winter, who was a 2-year starter and had a lot of great moments at Albany in FCS the last couple of years. Emory Williams, of course, who tough last year. I mean, he, wasn't lighting up the stat sheet or anything like that, but Miami called upon Emory Williams last year to start against the 2 toughest defenses that they played against. He started against Clemson and won that game, made some big throws in the 4th quarter. Miami wins it in overtime, was trying to lead a comeback against Florida State before he broke his arm. Tyler Van Dyke finishes that game, throws the interception. Florida State beats Miami. So Emory Williams happened to play against the 2 toughest defenses Miami has faced last year. He's recovered nicely from that compound fracture. He's been doing well throughout spring football. And then obviously the man at the top of that quarterback heap is Cam Ward, who comes off of that 324-yard, 3-touchdown, 0 interception performance in the spring game, and has really been exceeding, if not meeting, everyone's expectations for him so far. So you still have 4 scholarship quarterbacks. We wish Jakari Brown the best wherever he ends up. God bless you and your family. And folks, we will continue to cover and track the transfer portal here on Locked On Canes, because I think this portal's going to be crazy. I know the first several hours were quiet. When's something going to happen? When's something going to happen? Things have been happening, my friends. So keep it locked here. We're going to be your source this week here on Locked On Canes for everything that goes on. We'll talk more tomorrow about players Miami might look to bring in, players at positions like cornerback, safety. We talked about some of those this morning, wide receiver, defensive tackle, positions that Miami's going to look to address. And we will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.